Good old Joe Rogan, huh? Joe Rogan is at it again. What's Joe Rogan talking about? He's got the third eye. He's the one that questions everything, right? He's a progressive, he says. You would think he's a progressive or maybe a libertarian, maybe for freedom, maybe for... But now he's all about just fascism, just right-wing totalitarian fascism. Defund the police, he says, ridiculous. Defund the police? Well, once you defund the police, then there's no police left. That's not defund the police. It's use the money for the other shit the police can't fucking do good at. Joe Rogan, let's hear Joe Rogan, okay? Joe Rogan, what are your comments, Joe? You got something to say? You got something on your mind, Joe Rogan? What is it?
Well, and cops don't do anything if someone jumps into someone's backyard. They don't arrest them. But you have to do like $900 worth of theft before they'll even arrest you.
Really?
And if they do arrest you, they just put you right back on the street.
And is it always been that way, or is it after the defunding?
After the defunding.
Yeah.
Well, that's the defunding of the police in Austin's been a disaster too. And New York's been a disaster. It's terrible everywhere. It's a terrible idea. The idea that you're gonna send social workers to handle someone's domestic violence.
Yeah, I know.
Bananas. And there's a lot of people that don't understand violence that think that's okay, and you know, and they have this like utopian idea of like, we don't need the police, man. When we're talking about defunding the police, we're talking about defunding the police. That's what we mean. And then guess what, Base? When there's crazy gang lords roaming the streets, controlling everything, like certain parts of New York, and then people get murdered.
You made it sound really cool. These gang lords, they're wearing their pimp jackets.
All right, so,
What? That's, no, I'm not mining TYT. So, Joe Rogan, let's go back and get pissed off about what the fuck he was saying, because what the fuck, Joe?
Police. We're talking about defund.
Yeah, we're talking about defund the police. So Joe Rogan had a bad conversation with one fucking, hipster guy who's just like, man, we're talking about anarchy, we mean anarchy. Could anarchy work? Do we need a government? Do we need a centralized authority to tell every other motherfucker what to do? Is it possible that we could, just be raised or educated or something, be raised in a certain way where we're all kind of on the same fucking page about most of the fucking shit, and we don't really need police and government to, govern us. We're basically doing our own goddamn things, and we're not hurting anybody, so it's all working out. Is that not a possibility? I also like the idea that the left, everybody says that they're about big government and fucking taxes, and it's the left that's talking about anarchy. It's the left that's talking about getting rid of your fucking government goons. You got your government goons protecting the oligarch and the plutocracy. Meanwhile, there's real fucking problems that's out here, and you're not addressing the root problems, right? You just had Andrew Yang say, let's take all the crazy homeless people and sweep them off to the side into a ditch. So, okay, Joe motherfucking Rogan, I got a lot of questions for you, Joe Rogan. How many goddamn times have the cops killed mentally ill people? Oh, they're having a mental breakdown. Let's kill them. Let's just kill them. Oh, there's a 13-year-old in Utah. 13-year-old Utah. He got fucking pissed. He got mad. Well, we need to kill that motherfucking kid, right? 13, that was just last year. How many times have cops killed mentally ill people? How many times have cops killed a person because drugs are involved somehow? How many times have cops killed a person because of a family issue, some kind of domestic dispute? How many times has a cop killed a poor person or a homeless person? Being murdered for just being homeless? You might say that's ridiculous. No, in Joe Rogan's California, that happened to Kelly Thomas, 2011. I remember telling white women at Spalding University, Catholics in Louisville, Kentucky, about this, and they couldn't give a shit less. They couldn't give a shit less. They couldn't care less. These are teachers in the public schools. So apparently white women, either they don't have to worry about homelessness or police brutality, and empathize with a man? A poor man? A poor man victimized by the cops? I can't even, no, that makes no sense. Clearly Kelly Thomas must have fucking deserved it, right? You Nazi fucking fucks? You fucking Nazi fucks? Goddamn fucking Joe Rogan, motherfucking right-wing goddamn fucking public education system. Yeah, shut the fuck up and listen to the tyrant in charge. Kelly Thomas was also mentally ill, so he's fucking homeless, he's crazy. We just said, live on the fucking streets. So California is going around murdering their homeless people, right? They're murdering the shit out of that peaceful, crazy homeless man. He didn't commit any crimes against anybody. He didn't hurt anybody at all. But, you know, the cops are just like, hey, sir, can we come over here? Come over here for a second. And then one thing led to the next, and then they murdered him. They beat his face in. They beat Kelly Thomas's, this is the cops of California, beat the face of Kelly Thomas in so fucking bad. He had broken bones in his face, but he's going to die because he choked on his own fucking blood. And then J.C. Sinelli, Manuel Ramos, Google these motherfuckers. J.C. Sinelli and Manuel Ramos. These douchebag motherfuckers looks like they've never had any authority, never had power, got the badge, got a gun, and immediately killed a fucking crazy homeless person. Killed the most vulnerable person they could fucking find. These are the heroes! Yay! They helped clean the fucking streets of crazy homeless people. Hey, Joe Rogan! Did you think maybe Kelly Thomas might have needed a fucking goddamn house? You think he might have needed a buddy or a friend? No, instead he's homeless, and he's being surrounded by a bunch of privileged white fuckers like Joe Rogan who walks right by him, and then he doesn't give a shit that he has no fucking home. That's the problem with the crazy homeless for the Andrew Yang and the Joe Rogans. The problem with the homeless is that they don't want to be reminded that there's people that don't have homes. There's people that don't have homes. And, you know, you want them to have homes, but you don't want to do anything about it. You'd rather get someone just beat the shit out of them and just push them out of the fucking way. Push them into a ditch. Get some right-wing fascist fucking cops to just clean that fucking refuse and that rabble and that shit out of the... There's poor people, there's homeless. Has Joe Rogan never been a victim of police brutality? And then he's sitting there talking about the social issues, right? You got the social issues. Oh, yeah, you don't want a social worker. Why don't you just have cops and social workers be the same thing? Social workers are the government. Cops are just so fucking dumb. They just know how to beat the shit out of things and shoot a thing. Can't you be like Andy Griffith? Can't you ask a couple fucking questions? Castilla County, Danny Sanchez, he can't ask no fucking questions. He's too afraid to ask a question here and there. If you call the police, they'll fucking harass you, but they won't ask any of the goddamn criminal motherfuckers a single fucking question. Why do we need that? What the fuck is the point of that shit? You get no police protection, and if they do come around, they'll fuck with you. Not with the criminal motherfuckers. They're too afraid of actually confronting the criminal motherfuckers. They can't ask them a single fucking question. But this mentally ill homeless person who's vulnerable, well, let's murder the fuck out of him. This 13-year-old kid who got angry about something, let's kill him. Let's make sure that motherfucker's dead. So J.C. Sinelli and Manuel Ramos, the two biggest douchebags of all fucking time, Joe Rogan is going to fucking defend the douchebags that murder fucking crazy homeless people. Kelly Thomas is no more. You don't have to worry about Kelly Thomas and him being crazy and homeless and you're, you know, you having pangs of consciousness or your conscious panging your... Manuel Ramos, he goes up to Kelly Thomas, real tough guy, right? Just, you know, this crazy homeless, and the cop goes, you see this fist? And he's like, yeah, what about him? Well, they're getting ready to fuck you up. And he's like, okay, bro. Oh, what, you ain't afraid of this, huh? You see these fists? I'm gonna fuck you up. And then he murdered him. He fucking murdered the shit out of him. So, hey, Joe Rogan, you're California? Y'all still killing homeless people over there? You're just murdering the shit out of them left and right, huh? Yeah, let's give the cops more fucking money. No, don't defund them. Let's give cops more money. Reimagine policing? We can't do that. Go back to Giuliani. Fascist totalitarianism is the only fucking way. De Blasio says reimagine policing. Can you imagine that? Reimagining a fascist totalitarian institution. What if the police were social workers? What if the police did go into a situation instead of just using their fucking gun and then using violence and shit? You know, they got that option, but that should be the last option. What if they used that shit as their last option, ask a couple fucking questions, and try to figure out what the fuck was going on before they arrived? Instead of just coming up and saying they're the fucking, you know, head violent fucking psycho in charge and they'll shoot and beat up anybody that questions that. What fucking good is that shit? Hey, Joe Rogan, you see these fists? Yeah, they're gonna kill fucking homeless people. Joe Rogan, fuck you. Motherfucking Joe Rogan's got money, he's got privilege, he's got fucking security, motherfuckers. And, you know, maybe the examples of the defund and the police, they're just not doing it right because the idea is the cops get to be cops, but we're going to go solve the homelessness, okay? Go ahead, hey, Joe Rogan, I want you to put Kelly Thomas in the house. Put Kelly Thomas in the house, and then every month, just call him and ask him how he's doing. Just show him the tiniest bit of fucking kindness and see if that would fucking change everything. Because, my God, if Kelly Thomas had a house and then one motherfucker on the planet that gave a goddamn fuck about him, If that would have changed everything, and then we said we didn't want to do that, that just shows, my God, you choose an evil. You don't even have enough consciousness to be good and decent for another motherfucker. Food, water, clothing, shelter, these are fucking essentials. You need shelter to live. Sit there and say, well, a homeless person committed a crime. Society, you committed a crime by letting that motherfucker be homeless. There should be no poor people, and there definitely shouldn't be any homeless people in the richest country in the world. The richest country in the world. And then can you imagine being fucking homeless and then seeing a bunch of Joe Rogans fucking walk by you with their snooty fucking faces? Could you imagine that shit? Joe Rogan sitting there judging you because what? You're fucking homeless, huh? You don't think that would make you a little bit fucking crazy? Frankly, I think it'd be crazy not to go crazy. You're surrounded by a bunch of psychotic fucking Joe Rogans. You're homeless, and Joe Rogan don't give a shit. None of these Joe Rogans give a fuck. And it's up to you to find a fucking home, or the cops are gonna murder you. You better find a home soon, because all these psychotic, of course, how could that not make you? If anything, you need to take a breath and realize that the odds are stacked against you. They're fucking coming after you. You're the fucking prey, Kelly Thomas. You're the prey. You see my fist? Fuck you. You're not a fucking cop. Fucking Manuel Ramos, just a bully motherfucker, bullied some poor, crazy homeless person and murdered the fuck out of him for no fucking reason, because he's a fucking egotistical piece of shit. I remember crying about this 10 years ago, and then talking to white women. White women couldn't give a shit about another person's soul. Yeah, Jesus Christ. When the KKK and the Confederacy was all about defending those assholes. Yeah, they're so fucking good. There's some good white women, but I just remember this is very particular. Fucking white women couldn't give a shit that Kelly Thomas, a handful of white women. What the fuck is wrong with white women? Are they that sick and fucked up? I mean, if they're homeless and they got their ass fucking beat, somebody beat the fucking living shit, they're homeless and they're scared and they, they say they're mentally ill. Maybe not. Maybe he's just fucking, just actually normal in a crazy society, and he's just reacting to the crazy society. You got, the white women who are teaching our kids didn't give a goddamn fuck that one of us died. There was one of us, and now one of us got murdered, and what, we're just going to march on like nothing fucking happened? The only way you can keep marching on is if your life is good. You live in a place where there is no crime, so if cops ever fucking do come around, it's always for good shit. But live in a poor area where there's crime all over the fucking place, and then cops come around, and they're criminals too. So you gotta watch out for the criminal motherfuckers, the cop criminals. Motherfucker. Defund the police just to get one of the goddamn gangs off the street. You see my fist? Yeah, fuck you, Manuel Ramos. But you know what? Joe Rogan's California, they acquitted. They acquitted Manuel Ramos and J.C. Sinelli of murdering Kelly Thomas. California, Joe Rogan, why'd y'all kill your Kelly Thomas? Why'd you kill Kelly Thomas? 30 years old? He wasn't doing shit. Stole some fucking mail or something? Fuck you. That was the crime that he needed to die for, like Eric Garner, right? And it wasn't not just them, right? It's not just them, but Jesus Christ, you had that case in Utah. So a police officer in Salt Lake City shot a 13-year-old boy with autism. He's got autism, right? He's apparently got the Asperger's. He suffers from separation anxiety. He's got Asperger's. He suffers from separation anxiety. He got pissed off. The mother didn't know what to do. She calls the police, and, they murdered him. They killed him, which is what she probably wanted, right? Golda Barton is her name. Lyndon Cameron. So, 2 last names, right? But, okay, Golda Barton. Golda Barton calls the police on Lyndon Cameron. I guess she loves the stepfather, but not her own. So Golda Barton calls the police on Lyndon Cameron, and, immediately shows up to the scene within seconds. Bang, 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 bang. Hey, Joe Rogan, why the hell did your cops need to kill this Lyndon Cameron? They're killing people with mental health issues. They couldn't talk to him. They couldn't have had a fucking smidgen of goddamn common sense. Jesus Christ, you mean to be a social worker, you don't have to be the expert of all experts, but have a little bit of psychology, have a little bit of fucking, social psychology, understand how human behavior, have a little bit of fucking education, know a little bit of something. You're just a violent fucking psycho-fascist bouncer piece of shit. You don't have a conscience. You can't just walk up to the scene and ask a couple questions and find out what's going on, find out who the troublemaker is. So 13-year-old Asperger's, he got mad. He got mad. The mother didn't know what to do, called the cops, and they fucking murdered the shit out of him. Well, good job, Joe Rogan. Man, you all saved the fucking day. I'm so glad we got the Joe Rogans of society all over the fucking place. Killing the mentally ill, killing the fucking poor and the homeless. I'm so fucking happy. And then the last thing I mentioned, drugs. We got the war on drugs. The war on drugs says that America doesn't give a shit about freedom. Shut the fuck up with all that talk about freedom. And then you also don't know capitalism and economics because Milton Friedman says fuck your war on drugs. So it's bad economics, it's bad for individual freedom, but that's America, right? Just one big fucking hypocritical fucking sons of bitches. George Floyd was on drugs. George Floyd was on drugs, but he wasn't violent. If anything, the drugs made him passive. It made him too passive and non-responsive, and he just let Derek Chauvin snuff him out. The war on drugs hasn't worked anywhere, and everywhere the alternative has been applied, it's worked everywhere. Colorado, Uruguay, Portugal, Amsterdam, Oregon, Maine, everywhere the alternatives have been applied, it's been successful. Isn't that insanity? Everywhere the war on drugs has been applied, it's been a failure, but we're going to keep on applying the failure, the failed tactics for 50 years. You fought the drugs for 50 years, America. Have you got rid of them? No, but you heard a lot of fucking people, what was it, Alabama, planting drugs on black folks for 10 years? Well, you ruined lots of people's lives with that, didn't you, Joe Rogan, huh? Yeah, let's get a bunch more Alabama cops to plant more fucking drugs on people, on innocent people. Let's get more cops to shoot and murder a bunch of innocent motherfuckers. Let's get more cops with absolute authority going around committing all the crimes in the goddamn world. Yeah, that's a solution, Joe Rogan. That's a real fucking solution. Jesus Christ. Defund the police means let the cops go after the violent motherfuckers, but if they can't ask a goddamn question, if they come up to a family disturbance and immediately just, go after the one, the family could be attacking the one motherfucker. If they just join in the foray, ask a couple fucking questions. If I walk up to a scene and I say, okay, that man I'm afraid of and that man I'm afraid of, those are the two men I'm going to talk to. They'll be confident and they'll have all the charisma in the world because they're not afraid of you or nobody else. So you need to, if you're afraid of them, then other people are afraid of them. So you need to question them, more. But what if they come in, they turn around, and they go after the fucking poor and the vulnerable? Oh, what, Kelly Thomas, you're poor? You have no home? Well, let's beat the shit out of you, huh? You see these fists, Kelly Thomas? Yeah, you're homeless. We could use our hands to build you a house, but no, we're going to punch your face until you choke on your own fucking blood because we're in Joe Rogan's California. We're in Joe Rogan's California. Kamala Harris, the cop, is VP. Yeah, thanks a lot, California. Remember when California used to be like this liberal wonderland? Jesus Christ. The older I get, the more I realize that Kentucky is Alabama as fuck. California is Alabama as fuck. Just want to make sure I got this states right. California is Alabama as fuck. So what, right? So what, homeless people have to deal with not having a fucking home and then living in a psychopathic society that thinks it's okay that they don't have a fucking home. So, yeah, they got a lot to deal with. What, just going to send them to a mental fucking rehab? You think that'll help? No, that's more institutional bullshit. You need humanity. You need a human somewhere in the fucking... Homeless people have already been given a death sentence. Have they not? Poor people have a death sentence. There should be no poor people and definitely no homeless in a rich society. The homeless have already been given a death sentence by society, and you have 22 empty houses per homeless person. So that's just society's fault. Society just doesn't give a fuck about homeless people. They're not even fucking trying. There's 22 empty houses. So all you got to do is just put the homeless person in the empty house. They'll build that empty house up or whatever, so it'll be good for the housing, good for the community, good for the homeless person. Instead of having a bunch of boarded up houses that decrease, you got a person, he'll take care of the thing. My God, 22 empty houses per homeless person, but we got to protect the banks, right? No, that's capital. That's the capital for the banks, and we're protecting the capital, the financial institutions, you know, whatever, out of London and shit. We got people here in America that don't even have a place to fucking sleep, and then Americans are okay with that. They're fine with that. What, Kelly Thomas, you don't have a place to sleep? Oh, well, I do. I got a place to sleep. You don't. So no wonder Philip and Nancy Garrido was getting away with all those fucking crimes. America, you're a psychopathic fucking nation. Joe Rogan, I don't know if your California is still killing homeless people. I'm sure they are. What fucking change has California done that's... No, you're not... No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're still killing your fucking homeless, and you're mentally ill. Your war on drugs has failed, and you're still implementing all these stupid-ass fucking policies, and you're doing it with a draconian, fascist, totalitarian zeal. You're going above and beyond saying that they could do no fucking wrong. The only reason that if the cops are good in California, it's only because the liberals have been fucking fighting to make sure that the goddamn cops are, you know... But homelessness is a problem in every city, town, village in America, in all 50 states, because nobody wants to do the right thing and actually build the homeless some goddamn homes. The problem with the homeless is they don't have a home, so build them a home. You had Lori Winter out of Pueblo. She said she was afraid of turning it into a business. Don't want to invest in the homelessness business. Okay, government, you're not in business to fucking make money, motherfucker. Government, you're either there to help us out, or get the fuck out of government. The government can't help us. Why do we have a government? So, Joe Rogan, when you actually, you know, fix the homeless problem, when you actually make sure that the Kelly Thomases have a place to live and that they have a universal basic income, they actually have a chance to live in America and do well in America. Homeless, have no money. Where are they going to file their papers? Where are they going to put their clothing? And then they're just going to get robbed, and then where are they going to put their food without the dogs getting... My God, you're not thinking about any of these things. When the Joe Rogans of the world actually care about working families and want working families to be a strong unit, when the Joe Rogans of the world want to stop criminalizing poverty and drug use and possession, when they want to fix the homelessness problem, when they want to actually start attacking these problems at the root. But as long as you're not attacking the problem at the root and you're just saying, more cops and more cops and more cops. 50 years we've been doing the war on drugs. Lots of cops on the war on drugs. What if the policy of the war on drugs is incorrect? Well, it doesn't matter how many fucking cops you throw in on that. And why can't they be somewhat social fucking workers? Can't ask a single fucking question. I'm just sick of goddamn privileged motherfucking Joe Rogan's just loving the cops so goddamn much. He can afford a good lawyer. He lives in a good community where crime doesn't even fucking exist. Yeah, I'm sure the cops are great in Joe Rogan's neighborhood. Joe Rogan is okay that the cops kill a few innocent people here and there, right? Got to crack, you know, some eggs in order to make an omelet. Kill a couple innocents, that's okay. As long as the rabble isn't annoying Joe Rogan. As long as they're not giving him pangs of conscience. You know, he doesn't want to think about it. He doesn't want to... Americans don't care for families and neighbors. We don't have universal health care. If we cared about each other, we would definitely would care about each other's health, let alone caring about the crazy homeless. So we don't care about our families and neighbors, let alone the crazy homeless. Americans are more annoyed that the homeless people force them to acknowledge their existence, to acknowledge injustice. But Americans are such a, you know, the crazy sort. Instead of fixing the problem at the root and just getting, you know, that homeless person a home, they just throw their conscience away. It's just easier that way. Oh, shit. This makes me feel bad. Should I stand up and do something about it? But I was about to go get a bunch of drugs and get drunk and act a fool. I was about to act a fool. Shit. I can't do anything good for anybody. I was about to go act a fool. It's easier just to throw away your conscience than it is to build a house for somebody else. Defund the police is the correct way. Domestic disputes, mental health, homelessness. What the fuck can a cop do for a homeless person? Unless they come with a hammer and 2x4s, the cops stay the fuck away from the homeless. All you need is hammers, nails, 2x4s. That's how you handle the homeless. And when they have a home and then they commit a crime, well then, okay, they weren't desperate and barely hanging on fucking society. And on top of it, mental health issues. Killed a 13-year-old in Utah because, a 13-year-old got mad. You can't ever get angry, young man. Yeah, you better get angry, but, you do need to be diplomatic because motherfuckers don't give a shit. They'll fucking blow your fucking head off and then act like it was justified and rationalized in some fucking way. They'll forget about Kelly Thomas, and they won't mention Kelly Thomas's name ever again. Like the white women at Spalding University in Louisville, Kentucky. The drug war has failed, homelessness, poor people, domestic disputes. The cop can't ask a question or two. And if it gets, push comes to shove, I say send the social workers and give them the power to arrest. So, okay, we come here to talk. We're going to try to talk this out. But if push comes to shove and there's a violent fucking altercation, then, okay, we're going to need to, make an arrest. But see, that's the problem. That's the problem is when they see a homeless man, they don't say, okay, that man is homeless, right? They don't see that homeless man as a man without a home. They don't see that homeless man, the human problems are just characteristic of the human race. They're saying, okay, homeless man, he's by himself, he's weak, he's vulnerable. Did he take some mail? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know, but let's harass the shit out of him until we murder and kill him and snuff him out for good. Cops should be smart enough to be, a little bit of a social worker. See a homeless man, know that they don't have a fucking home. They have to deal with a lot of shit that you don't have to fucking deal with. They don't have privacy. They have no sanctuary. They can't organize themselves. Where can they keep their property safe? What the fuck? Homeless people are so fucked. But the problem is that cops are just stupid, violent, fucking fascist, totalitarian thugs. They're just fucking violent, fascist, totalitarian fucking thugs. They just go around using violence against people just for the fuck of it. They're on the side. They don't know what to do with real criminals, but then the vulnerable, they'll fuck over a vulnerable person in a goddamn heartbeat. A fucking criminal, you just had that Samaritan Mathis driving around with a tractor going on a rampage. They didn't do shit with him for 7 hours. If that was Kelly Thomas, they would have murdered him, but 7 fucking hours? They arrested him without, incident. He's still alive. But that was Castilla County. So cops are just violent thugs. It's a terrible example to the community. Is that manhood? Go around with a gun and shoot motherfuckers and use violence? Use violence, shoot people. Violence is the answer and it's always the answer. Is that what Joe Rogan is saying? Violence is the answer and it's always the answer. So, defund the police, I think it's just brilliant. It's let the cops do the cop shit, but, we've got to think about policing differently. Cops, they're not solving all of our problems, and it's crazy to think that the cops could solve all of our problems. Some issues, drugs, homelessness, mental health, family issues, it's going to require us to learn to communicate, to listen, to learn from each other, to give a shit, empathy. And then other issues, like homelessness, that's going to require us to actually start building basements and walls and floors and roofs. We're actually going to need to build houses for the homeless. You tell me a homeless person committed a crime, okay, society, but he was homeless, and you didn't give a shit about that. That's your fault. Him being homeless is your fault. Him committing a crime, it's partially his fault, but it's also partially your fault. You let him walk around. Did he want a home? Was there an empty home and he just absolutely refused it? Bullshit. Bullshit. Fuck you. I don't believe that shit. You didn't even try. You didn't even try. You're a piece of shit, and you saw poor homeless, and you don't want to fucking give a shit. So you'd rather just to get the cops out there to murder and kill your Kelly Thomases. Fuck that shit, Joe Rogan. Fuck that shit. R.I.P. Kelly Thomas.